consumer price inflation edging higher in the month of October to 5.9%, up from 5.4% the month before. Now, the CPI sits at the upper end of the Reserve Bank's 3 to 6% target range. The data released by StatsSA comes on the eve of the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee's last interest rates decision for the year. Let's speak now to Newzroom Afrika's Ntokozo Khumalo, who joins us to give us a sense of where things are as far as the ordinary consumer is concerned. Ntokozo, talk us through the drivers of this jump in inflation in October, and perhaps a sentiment from economists ahead of that important decision tomorrow, the interest rates. Do you think that this inflation ticking up could potentially save us from the interest rate hike tomorrow?
Well, Goli, with the inflation edging back up closer to the upper end of the SARB's band, means that we might take a little bit longer for us to start seeing the SARB actually decreasing interest rates. They want that inflation rate much lower, so we're still going to contend with that for quite some time. And answering your question on what drove that jump in October, food and non-alcoholic beverages jumping up 8 to 8.7% in that month. And where I am right now is I am at Flossoras, and I know, Goli, as a health freak yourself, you would appreciate this, but just the maker of natural juices and the effects of that business. I'm about to taste this, which is apple, cucumber, and so on, but a manufacturer out in Flossoras, and that is Vuyisile Siboza, who is the director of Raw Liquid. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, we've just spoken about those inflation numbers going up, the food and non-alcoholic beverages being one of those that pushed it up, sitting at 8.7% in October. How are you feeling that impact as a very small SME that's trying to grow the business, manufacturing in that space? What costs have you seen increasing in your business?
Sure. Yes, Ntokozo, it's tough times for us, especially as small businesses operating in the townships. However, we have to be resilient and soldier on. Our input material, as you know, in our production, we use whole food ingredients. So as the price of food is going up, so it's definitely affecting our prices. And now that also impacts our consumers, as you know, that in terms of their disposable income, it's actually reducing. And yeah, it's making it a tough time for us at the moment, yes.
And this is a very niche, sector of the market that you've chosen, the health juices and so on. Already the market is small, even smaller in, township economies and so on. How do you then find that balance to continue producing your products, but ensure that you don't lose consumers because of too high of prices?
Okay, what I do just to balance the things out, whilst I'm trying to introduce it in the townships, however, I do have established customers that are already used to wellness and cold pressed juices in the northern suburbs. That is where I sell most of the products that are manufactured from the townships. However, in order to try and reduce the cost of traveling, I have to also grow within the community where I am. So how I do that, I do workshops in communities just to create awareness in terms of healthy living, and then I also collaborate with the gyms, local gyms, and especially on the aerobics fitness clubs. That is where we're trying to grow the market.
And we did meet at AGOA where you were exhibiting there, and you did speak to some of the opportunities that you see there, with the country also now experiencing these logistical challenges. How are you then strategizing? You mentioned collaboration, just strategizing to ensure that you are able to stay in business, you are able to access the markets that we spoke about at AGOA and carry on with business despite the rising inflation and interest rates as well.
Yeah, fortunately in that regard, so we were lucky that, City of Joburg and also JCCI, they've trained us since 2020. I think we're about 20 SMMEs to be export ready. So it was a 3-year program which we finished this year. And now we are at the phase where we're looking for access to market. So being at AGOA was one of those efforts of us to try and gain the international exposure, and also to try and grow our markets internationally as well, to boost our revenue as well.
And just talk us through, coming from Foslo, looking to take on the world with your products, what inspired you to actually get into this specific business, looking at health, which is important for the country as well? What inspired you to get into the business and really keep it going so that you can also add to economic growth and job creation, that helps curb some of the issues that we face in the economy?
Yes. Fortunately, growing up, I've always been health conscious, and from a young age, I had issues of obesity, until somebody, explained to me how the effects of not eating properly, it actually affects your health in general. So once I've gained knowledge, because I think that is where most people are actually lacking in terms of lack of knowledge.
And we think it's expensive to be healthy.
It is. No, what I say now, and I used to grapple a lot with that question, but now what I say, if you think that healthy living is expensive, wait until you get sick. Then that is how you know what expensive is. I think we can't put any value, in taking care of ourselves. So it's very expensive not to actually eat healthy. So knowing that, the power of nutrition, because like they say, you are what you eat. So and that's what I'm trying to convey to our community, to say, we have to take care of ourselves if we want to live a quality lifestyle as well.
And the product range and the kind of just health benefits that you do have. I was telling earlier about the apple and cucumber, which is quite refreshing. What kind of product range do you have for your consumers that are, trying to keep their purses tight, but also invest in living a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, as the ultra-marathon runner as well, so I did about 5 comrade marathons, and I realized even then that, since I've actually had a change of lifestyle, so it was actually more fun to actually run, because you're actually replenishing all the nutrients. We currently have 4 flavors, which is your beetroot, which is good for your blood circulation and also for increasing your oxygen levels in your blood. So we also have the green juice, which consists mainly of the greens like your spinach, cucumber, celery. Then we have your pineapple juice, which is an anti-inflammatory. It's got your pineapple, it's got your lemon in it, and it's got mint as well. And then we've got the last one, which is a carrot juice. It's a combination of carrot, pear, lemon, and ginger. That's where you get all your minerals and vitamins that your body needs in order for it to function properly.
Vuyisile, thank you so much for talking to us and just giving us those insights. Of course, that is the director of Raw Liquid, just talking us through how he's navigating through those inflation, but also interest rates pressures as an SME that is looking to scale and not only grow in his local markets, but also access those international markets as well, Xoli. And we will be following him around today as he attends some of his meetings, and that collaboration that he spoke about, also hearing from other SMEs that have managed to continue to grow. The one that we'll be visiting a little bit later on, looking at a new factory in the same industry. So while there certainly is pressure within the food and non-alcohol beverages sector of the economy, entrepreneurs, they're seemingly still pushing and looking for ways to retain those consumers that are under financial pressure. It is back to you in studio for now, Xoli.
Ntokozo, Khumalo, thank you very much. Well, it looks like the inflation ticking up is going to make for a very difficult interest rates decision tomorrow for the Reserve Bank governor and the people that he works alongside.